Let's begin with the ground. Using the Bezier tool, I create some shapes, which I'm hoping will be ground. The nodes and arrowheads of the Bezier are driving my creativity wild. Watch as I play around. Now fill color in each shape using the Uniform Fill option. It's at the bottom right corner. Here, see this. I use this as I want to only fill a color. I'm using shades of green and brown for the ground. Now make the sky with the help of the rectangle tool. Fill color into it from the color bar. Push it behind the ground using the keyboard shortcut Control page down. Are you wondering why I'm using these circles? I use the ellipse tool, by the way. Now to combine these circles into one large circle, I click on Weld on the property bar of the Pick tool. Look what we have now, a cloud. Fill them with color and remove the outline. With the existing color of the sky, the clouds do not stand out. Let me try some shading using fountain fill. I am tempted to touch up the ground a little more. Bear with me while I experiment with some colors. I further enhance the clouds using the ellipse tool. I want to bring in a crescent shape on the cloud. The front minus option on the property bar of the ellipse tool will help me to get the desired shape. See? Now for some more of these. Let me color them. Next, I create copies of this shape and position them on the remaining clouds. Let me try more color options for the clouds. The clouds are done now. Now I'll make the sun. I use the ellipse tool to draw the shape of the sun. I'll move these clouds to make way for the sun. Next, fill the sun with color. Now for the rays. I use the Bezier and Shape tool to create one ray to begin with. Select the ray and fill it with color. Then give it some shading using fountain fill. Next, I move the ray closer to the sun and align it such that it falls on a straight line from the center. I do this by double-clicking on the center of the ray and drag this to the center of the sun. This will help me in placing the rays around the sun. See the inset? This is what happens when the two centers are aligned. Rotate the rays by 15 degrees and simultaneously right-click to duplicate it. Now just press Ctrl R to repeat the rays around the sun. To push the rays behind the sun, I select the sun and bring it forward with the help of Shift plus Page Up keys. The sun is ready, but it needs some resizing to make it proportionate to the picture. To resize and reposition the sun, I'll first need to group the rays and circle so that they move together as one. So, first select all the objects and then press Ctrl plus G to group. Now, I resize by clicking and dragging the corner placeholders. To position it, click Drag and Position wherever you want it to be. With the sun shining brightly, the color of the sky too must reflect the radiance. Let me go to Fountain Fill and try some shading options. Next, I need to draw some houses on the landscape. I will use the Bezier tool. The Bezier tool looks simple, but to maneuver the nodes and arrowheads can be challenging. Do not give up. Look how I alternate between the Bezier and Shape tools to get the house. Then, let me fill color using the color bar and uniform fill options, which is at the bottom right corner of the screen. Observe how I work with the shapes to give a shadow effect. Now see carefully. I want a pattern here on this wall of the house. I select the wall, then I go to Bucket tool, Pattern Fill dialog. This dialog box offers a range of patterns for you to choose from. I select this one. Oh no, got to resize the pattern. See the dialog again? I reduce the width and height. So here's the pattern on the wall. I did all this simply to show you the pattern fill. Actually, I didn't want the pattern at all. So I'm filling a different color on the walls to match the background. Duplicate this house to make one more house. I am making the tree now in the background. First the trunk using the Bezier tool and shape tools. Now fill color from the color bar. Then for the leaves use ellipse tool. First one ellipse, then duplicate the ellipses by removing the outline. There are the leaves. Now coloring the leaves using uniform fill. Then move them on the branches. I make copies of the tree, resize and place them. Now for the bushes in the far end. I take them out of the frame. It's easier to make them out on a white background when you fill color later. Also, there is no danger of any other object moving or getting selected by mistake. Now I combine these ellipses using the weld option on the property bar of the Move tool. Remember the weld option? It helps you merge shapes. Now fill color from the color bar. Do they look like bushes now? Let me move them back into the frame. I want the bushes to be a part of the ground. So I merge the two again using the weld option. When we merge shapes with two different colors, green and brown as in this case, the merged image takes the color of the last object. But then I'm thinking this looks a little odd. Let me try this. I'll change to green over here. And create another shape which will be the ground. Now I make this in brown. Now for the birds again using the Bezier tool. You know it by now, don't you? I'm going to show this to you in quick motion. Take a look. Now I am to add grass on the ground. Just watch. This is interesting. I click on the Artistic Media Brush tool. The property bar options change specific to this tool. Then click on the brush option. See, a whole lot of ready-made options, and there's one for grass too. I click and drag it here. See, doesn't it look real? Now I click and drag it along the surface of the ground. All this while we've been using the Bezier tool. But then, why take the trouble when you have a ready-made option available? And then you can't be sure each blade of the grass will be this clear with the Bezier tool. Now for some dry leaves using the same artistic media brush tool. Now I'll group all the components of this picture. I'll tell you why I'm doing it in a while. Just watch. Now I move the picture to the side. Do you see that it is slightly larger than the size of the document? I'll need an exact fit. So I make a rectangle using the rectangle tool and then select the picture. Go to Effects, Power Clip, Place Inside Container. Click inside the container and, true to its name, the option helps the picture fit into the selected container. Hey, but that's not the entire picture. I need a proper fit that doesn't tamper the picture. I right click and select Edit Contents. Now I'll click and drag the edges and manually fit my picture into the container. At this point, I'm going to save the illustration in CDR format. It is a good practice to save our work from time to time. So at this stage, the background scene is done. I'll lock and secure this from moving by right-clicking and selecting Lock Object. We are now ready to make the pot and the crow. First, the pot. I'm using the ellipse tool for the pot. Filling color using fountain fill. Now for an effect on the pot. I'm using a combination of Bezier and shape tools. Now for the hero of the story, the crow. Again, the Bezier and shape tools to our rescue. Just watch how a set of lines when shaped properly can turn into something as good as this. Filling color. I move the crow on the pot. Now for the claws of the crow. It's done. The clever crow indeed. Time to save. Save it as a CDR and export it as a JPEG.